music has changed. How it makes us feel never will. The time is now to visit amstudios.co.za. Brought to you by Old Mutual.
Hi, my name is Mac G. Welcome back to the AMP Studio Music Industry Podcast. It is brought to you by Old Mutual. If you'd like to be a part of AMP Studios or check out the masterclass and content we've created for you, just go to our website, www.ampstudios.co.za. That's www.ampdstudios.co.za. Or you can just send your name to our WhatsApp line, 081 707 6636. That's 081 707 6636. DJ Shimza's rise to the top was slow and steady with a lot of bumps and curves. On this week's episode, he talks about his journey from a small, young, wannabe DJ to someone who's built an empire. If he can do it, so can you. So let's do it.
How are you? I think you guys are more amped than I am. Yeah, I mean, I started my DJing career at a very young age. I used to listen to like YFM. My brother used to collect a lot of compilations and vinyls, So that's where I can say the love of the music started, and I literally was that boy that didn't have any ambitions of being a doctor or like an engineer or want to go to space. I literally didn't know what I wanted to do. And I felt weird because at school people would be on some, I want to be an engineer, and I'd be on some, I want to be I don't know, Nothing interested me, nothing made sense to me. I did not have any interest in anything else but something that I didn't know existed, And I think there was some sort of a calling at that time. But obviously, because I was still very young, I didn't know what it was. As time went on, I gravitated towards my brother and his music collection and what was playing on radio. YFM at that time was quite huge. It had just come out. There was this new international sound that was booming. Like the interest of what Frankie Knuckles was doing, Louis Vega. They were coming to South Africa for shows, Electric Workshop, and I could see like the hype around my brother and his peers when they would used to go out on weekends, and I was like, what is this thing that people are so happy about to go to, and they're like, yeah, it's like festivals and gigs and clubs, and I was like, maybe one day I want to go see what this thing is, and luckily in my hood, Tembisa, there were these small things called Stockfells. We all know what Stockfells are, So there were Stockfells, and I remember I was still about 11, 12-ish, and I used to go to these Stockfells because there were like DJs that were playing there, and I used to be that boy that would sit next to the speaker like this while the DJ is there, just looking over and checking what the DJ was doing, And I was like, damn, this thing is like so cool, like you're sort of like in charge of the party. If you switch off the music, people literally stop and stare at you. When you play a good song, people like vibe with you. And for me, that was like the sort of command I wanted, like that sort of gravitated towards me. I was like, I think this is what I want. It's something that's fun. Obviously there are a lot of girls around and you've got like an entourage, which is quite cool at that time, and I sort of got into it and I was like, okay, maybe I need to try this thing out, I was 11 at the time and it was just about playing the music and that was it. And I kept going to these Stockfells. And obviously because I'm chilling next to the DJ, you sort of like get to see the routine. It's like, okay, he's got a vinyl, he gets a different vinyl, puts it on the turntable, he puts the needle there. So like as I'm watching, I'm sort of learning and seeing what this guy is doing all the time, And at some point, you sort of know what's going on, although you don't hear what he's listening to on the headphones, but you know that it's a turntable, vinyl, needle, headphone, mixer, fader in, fader out, which was sort of like basic, you know. So as time went on, my brother had brought a turntable to the house. He had a friend that was a DJ, and he would literally just play vinyls one by one in the house, from our like house theater system. So when he left, I used to do the same thing. So I knew that when you put the needle at the beginning of the vinyl, that's where there's silence and then the song starts, so that's the first beat. And I got it. Oh, this is why this guy was like catching the first beat and letting it go. So I sort of got to get the gist of what it was that what this DJ was doing. And I started like playing around, fooling around at home. And I think fast forward to my first week in high school. I went to a high school called Sir Pierre van Reineveld in Kempton Park, in Ekurhuleni. So the first week of my high school week, I was taking different routes, like to see which one is shorter, which one is interesting. And I used to use the train to go to school. So I used to walk like, I think, 5Ks to the train station, catch a train and go to school, which today I do as gymming. But yeah. So I used to take different routes. And one day I took a route that went past a place called Swazi Inn in Tembisa. So I was walking down, minding my own business. And then I went past this house, and I could hear, man, like, because I was sort of like a bit clued up in terms of music and compilations. There was no compilation that we didn't have, like your Skidos, your Fresh, all of that. And I could hear from the music that was playing in like the garage that no, what's playing in there is definitely not a CD. It's not a CD. It's not a cassette. It's either this person is playing a mix that was done by someone else, or this person is mixing in that garage. So I stood outside and like I'm listening. I'm like, yes, this guy is like so dope. And then out of nowhere, this guy pops out, and he's like, dude, I've been seeing you, been standing outside and listening. Do you want to come in and check what we're doing? And I was like, yeah, yeah. I walked in and I get there and these guys have like turntables and like crates of vinyls. I was like this is it. So I get there and already by then my school backpack had like my DJ name on it. It was like DJ Shimza. And then this guy checks my bag and he's like, so you're a DJ? And I'm like, yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. And he's like, okay, show us what you got. And because I had a bit of, self learning and understanding, I got there, took the vinyl, put it there like a professional. Put the vinyl there, first beat, da, da. Obviously, like my mix was not that perfect, but this guy sort of saw like, okay, he's not like a beginner. He's a beginner. So I can sort of like work with him. So from there, like every day, like after school, okay, now that was my route to like go back home. So every day I used to go there, practice every single day, like literally after school, I was not that kid that went to go play soccer with other kids or play Mamal Papa. No. I was that guy that was playing with vinyls as a after school type of activity. So as I practiced and now I look back and I was like, that the practicing that we were doing was like I was learning from professional DJs, because these guys clearly were doing this for years before I met them, and that's why I could sort of like pick up from the outside. I'm sure if I was walking past that day and I could hear people playing horses, I would be on some that. I'm not gonna stand for this rubbish. But these guys were so good, they were like so dope that I was blessed to have people that were so competitive, were so so finicky about the smallest things, and it helped me build who I am today, because we used to like have random battles like amongst each other, like, nah man, I think I'm better than you in terms of my mixing skills and stuff, and we used to like, okay, cool, let's bring it on, put down turntables, let's go, and someone is judging. Little did I know that at that time it looked like we were pissing on each other, but it was something that was training me to work under pressure, so that practicing of every day created like some sort of urge to sort of be the best at what we were doing. And like we were using like bad equipment, man, like belt drives. I don't know if you guys wouldn't know because you're like CDJ kids, like there's a difference between a techniques turntable, which is like a professional turntable, and like the old belt drive turntables. I trained on those turntables where you would have to assist the turntable to move because it did not have the mechanism that the techniques had. So that struggle of making what you have at your disposal to work for you also helped me, because we were like, we could have just chilled and be on some, okay, we're going to wait till one day one of us can afford to buy techniques turntables and then we'll start practicing. But we got to understand that this is it, like this is it. If we can do what we want to do with what we have, then so be it. So as time went on, man, like I sort of saw this thing as not just a hobby, but something that could be something that I could live off. As much as I didn't want to just be a DJ, because at that time when you're a DJ, it was like you just work on weekends and that's it. But because I went to school, I went to primary, I finished primary, I went to high school. My whole high school years, I used to like practice. So like grade 8, grade 9, grade 10, grade 11 till matric. That was like my practicing years. So I like practiced for 5 years on bad equipment. So at some point when I was like in grade 11, 10, 11, um, obviously I'm confident because I practice every day on pop equipment, and now we've been battling in the house together, and we sort of like have that thing to say we don't think there's anyone else anywhere in the world that's doing what we're doing, especially in South Africa. And we started entering DJing competitions, and the reason why we did that is because we understood that for you to be the best, you need to play amongst the best. And obviously, not everyone is going to want to go out to battle and embarrass themselves. Obviously, whoever who's there in that competition believes that they've got like something unique that they can present to whatever competition.
I hope you're enjoying this episode of AMP Studios Music Industry Podcast. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after these.
As you build your career in music, as you build your brand, make sure you diversify. A lot of artists who are struggling financially right now are those who don't have alternatives. Create multiple streams of income. As an artist, your brand can actually open doors for you. You can be a social media influencer. You can be a brand ambassador. Capitalize on your brand. Make sure you have multiple streams of income. That is what you need. Artists with a strong online presence are in a better position to make money even during the pandemic, simply because they had a proper plan in place. So you cannot achieve that unless you partner with a financial advisor. You cannot be relying on concerts. If no concerts, no bag. For you to secure your bag, make sure you multiply your streams of income.
Music has changed. How it makes us feel never will. The time is now to visit amstudios.co.za. Brought to you by Old Mutual.
Welcome back. Let's get back into this week's AMP Studios Music Industry Podcast.
I started going to competitions, man, as at 16, 15, 16, 17. I was in those things, man, and I was just knocking out, like I remember I used to beg my family for DJing equipment. My mom, okay, Nasad again, she was like, dude, I'm a teacher, you need to go to school. This whole DJing thing of yours must just wait, So I couldn't ask my mom for anything. I couldn't ask my mom for money to buy vinyls. I couldn't ask money for a taxi to go buy my vinyls or anything, So I understood that this person is angry at me because I don't want to be a doctor, and she's working so hard to take me to school, and I'm telling her that I want to play music, like, please, And I sort of understood it, and I accepted it. I was like, okay, it's cool. If you don't want to be part of it, I'll try and do what I can to prove to you that I can make something out of this path that I've taken. So I'm gonna let you be that old angry woman teacher, and I'll just do me. So I remember there was uh, a conference at the baseline, the South African Music Conference, that's like organized by DJU, Fresh, Greg Maloka, Vinita Vinci, Oskido, and DJ Christos. They call themselves DJU as a consortium. So they had like a conference that was a week long, and it was during school holidays. So I'm like, okay, I wanna go to this conference because I think I'll learn something else that probably I'm not exposed to. And I asked my mom, I was like, Ish, my lady, there's this conference that I wanna go to, and it's like 250 for a registration fee, and it's like a week long. And she was like, dude, I told you, I'm not interested. So leave me alone. So I was like, okay, cool, it's fine. I had two friends, Dominic and Small, and I told them, I was like, guys, I want to go to this conference, but hey, I don't work, so I'm gonna need assistance with this thing. And they were like, okay, cool, it's fine. They combined the money, and they were like, cool, we've got you. Every day we went to this conference, and it unlocked my mind so much because we were learning from experienced people who've been through what we are going to go through. They shared our stories like I am with you guys today. And you sort of pick up with different people's stories that, oh, this actually makes a bit of sense to my story. Maybe I'm in the right path, or maybe I'm on the wrong path. So I didn't take advantage of those moments of the conference, of all the conversations I had with people around me, because they helped me. They formed like a sort of pathway to say, okay, I think if I can go this way, I might be doing the right thing. So after that conference on the Friday, there was a DJ competition for that conference, and the prize was for you to win like new turntables and a mixer and stuff. I was like, I need to get onto that thing. So I was there, and I was like, I need to enter this competition. I need to make sure that I'm on that stage. And on that Friday, I was carrying my vinyls in plastics because I couldn't afford a DJ bag, a proper DJ bag. So I was there with my plastics. I think I had about 20 vinyls, like so 10. And I was there chilling, waiting for I think I didn't even listen to what was happening that Friday. I was just waiting for like the DJ competition. So I was chilling there, and they were like, okay, it's cool. Who wants to battle it out? And I was there. I'm the tiniest in that whole room. And I'm like, yeah, me. And I'm sure they were just looking at me on some, this guy's just gonna waste our time. And they were just picking people like, you come on stage. So now it's like a whole fight because everyone wants this equipment. So they call the guys that were chosen, come on stage, come on stage. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna be left out. So I go as well, even though they didn't pick me. I just go. And when I get there, This stubborn timer, it's like, we didn't choose you. Like, where you going? You know? I was like, so I was the last person and they cut the line. But I stood there, man. I stood there with my vinyls and I was like, I don't know what's going to happen, but it needs to happen now. So one of the guys that was on stage is like, you know what? I'll swap my place for that kid to come up. You know? So I go on stage and like these guys are playing and I'm just sitting there on some, yo, I need to do this thing, I need to do this thing. So now I'm sort of like used to the nerves, you know, of me just up in the room with my three other guys, you know. So the pressure was not that much, you know. It was okay. You know, it was like, okay, I'm doing another battle, you know. So I was there, the youngest guy, and I knocked everyone off. You know, I won that competition. I was like, yeah, now we're talking. I've got now proper equipment at home. You know, took the boxes, got home, and I was like, I'm gonna show that teacher at home that I did this thing. You know, got home, I was like, yo, my lady, I won this thing. Remember that conference that I was telling you about that you didn't want me to go to? I was there and like I won this equipment, you know. And she's like, wow, you actually quite serious, you know. And now I've got equipment at home. There's like, obviously, because it was like an industry conference, there were a lot of promoters, a lot of DJs that were doing parties at certain places, which took my numbers. I was now exposed to like Oskido and Greg, and you know, and obviously with them, they're like, we need to hold this kid close, but not too close because he might be a time ticking bomb. You know, he might be. We might let him in, and then like he drops out of school, and his vibe just changes. You know, and over the years, like I had to sort of mend those relationships, prove to them that nah, I'm not here for the girls that I thought was like the you know, and I'm here for the music. I'm here. I want to just DJ. I want to make a living out of this. I'm inspired by you guys. I want to be like you one day, you know, and I had to work towards gaining the trust of the people that were going to help me in my career, you know. So I had to go to school. When I pass, I need to send my reports to everyone, you know, to say, guys, I've passed, you know, like so they don't seem like, and I used to see it like every time school holidays when they come, they sort of like start chatting to me, all of them, you know, and then I'm like, yeah, I passed. And then like one or two will say, yeah, I've got this thing somewhere, come through and play, you know. I'd be there on time, get there, play. After playing, sit on my corner, watch what they're doing, how they handle the crowd. So it was just a constant learning experience for me, you know. And I was happy that I had people on my side that were willing to sort of guide me and help me through my career, you know. So there is still a guy called Brawili, you know. So Brawili was like, actually Brawili is the guy that cut the line, you know. I was like, now you want to work with me, you know. So Brawili, fortunately enough, he was also from Tembisa, so we had like a connection, and he was mainly like the stage manager at all these big festivals where like the Freshes and Gregs and Vinnies were playing. So he was the go-to guy because he at some point he was like the manager of Boom Shaka, you know, so he was clued up, you know, he was the guy to be your guy, you know. So I remember even when Fed Cook and Mahuta used to do those Spring Bash um, events, which were like huge, you know, he used to say, "Be there at 9 in the morning," and I'd be on some like, "Why 9 o'clock? Security? Me like DJs? Like there's no one playing at that time, you know?" And you're on some dude, just get there early and just chill. I'll make a plan for you, you know. So I'd be that guy that would be at a festival at 9 in the morning, you know, when even the sound is not on, but I'm there just chilling, waiting on the side for that one opportunity where one DJ is late and I can jump on, you know. So I was fortunate to have the stage manager who was literally running everything. And he used to like be strategic about it, you know. He used to like, okay, cool. I know I can't throw this boy in the deep end after a skid, or like I need to like place him nicely, you know. So he would create like small gaps in between, like even if it's a 15-minute, because he knew that I could deliver, you know. So during those 15 minutes, I used to go there and just kill it, you know. And I used to ask him all the time. I was like, did I do it right? You know, he's like, yeah, you did it right, but you can't play this and so, this and so, this and this plays person's music because they're performing later. You need to be very careful about those type of things. So, oh, I got it. I was like, oh, okay. So it means if I'm playing with Oskido, I can't play songs that are on his compilation because he needs to play them because they're on his compilation. That's what people want to listen to in that festival, you know. So I got those small little experiences that helped me like groom my brain into this whole DJ that I wanted to be. You know, so at like 18, you know, I was like a full-on DJ, and I didn't have to worry about working on my DJing anymore. You know, now it was like, okay, I can do it. You know, I play at all these parties, and I can see how people relate to what I do, and it's all good and well. But what's the next level? Like, what's the next level of my career? And I was like, okay, cool. I'm out of matric. What can I do? I'm not gonna study and be an accountant. Like, I'd be so unhappy, you know. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a marketing diploma. And why I thought about that was like, I think the next step, I've got the DJing part, I know the art, but I need to build a brand towards like being an Oskido one day, you know. And what could help me? I was like, I need to do a marketing course somewhere, you know. So I went to Varsity College and I did a marketing course for a year, you know, just a year, you know. So I got there. It was cool. Like, it was so exciting when I started. Like, they're talking about market research and like a brand positioning and that. And I was like, cool, this is actually what I need, you know? And I learned so much within that year. And then the next year, I went back. I was like, I wonder what the next step is, you know? And I started speaking about strategic accounting, what. And I was like, you know, I was like, nah, I don't think I want to be talking about statistics and stuff. I think I'm cool now, you know. And I was like to my mom, lady, I think I got what I wanted from this course, and I don't want you to waste your money, you know, because I'm gonna fail. We're gonna fight in the house, and she was like, cool, dude. If you think you're a man now, do your thing, but you must just know that from today on, if you're not going to go to school, do not ask me for you know. So I was like, okay, cool. It's okay. It's fine. You know, so now I'm like, I need to start making money out of this thing. You know, I need to start making money, just even if it's just to buy airtime.
That was an AMP Studios music industry podcast brought to you by Old Mutual. I hope you're learning a lot and loving the series. Please subscribe right now to make sure you don't miss out on more. And if you'd like to see videos or access more content or even use the AMP Studios facilities, or maybe you just want to be part of our AMP Studios journey, go to our website. That's ampedstudios.co.za, ampdstudios.co.za, and sign up there. You can also sign up by sending your name to our WhatsApp line on 081 707 6636. That's 081 707 6636.
Music has changed. How it makes us feel never will. The time is now to visit ampstudios.co.za. Brought to you by Old Mutual.